I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago. I've changed.
Wet hay is so much heavier than dry hay. Welcome to the Squeaky Wheel Farm. Hi, I'm Christine, and today I'd like to talk about Ruth Stout. Now, Ruth Stout was a gardener back in the 1950s. She did a lot of work with easy gardening and composting, and she was the ultimate no-till gardener, probably the first one. So today I'd like to show you how her method worked. She wrote many books about it, and you could probably check them out in the library. But let me show you how she did her gardening. Her secret was in using mulch. She believed that hay was probably the best mulch, but you could use any mulch. You could use straw, wood chips, grass clippings, newspapers, cardboard, basically anything you can get your hands on. Today I'm going to show you how we do it with hay, so that hopefully there'll be less weeding, less watering. Now my ground here in the hoop house is already worked up, but I don't want you to be misled by that. Ruth believed that you could put your mulch right over the grass, let it suffocate and kill off the grass, and then plant right in it just by moving the hay aside, planting your seeds in the ground, because seed does need to touch the soil to germinate, and then just cover it back up. And she would have these wonderful lush gardens that required very little effort, very little work. Now this is an example of what I have from my potatoes that I used last night. Some of these sprouts are really long, and they're still usable. They're going to grow some beautiful potato plants.
Seen a lot of change,
I'm just going to try and spread these out if I can. Keep them in rows if I can, because that way I'll be able to identify it. Now I do know what potato plants look like, so I shouldn't have any problem. But you'd like them to be at least 12 inches apart. Here's the whole potato I decided I wasn't going to use. That field didn't have really many sprouts on it, so
I thought I would never be fine. I strive just to say I'm alright.
even if you only have small sprouts like this, they're still going to produce a potato plant. So go ahead and plant them.
Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay.
If you can and it's not too much trouble, try and make sure your sprouts are facing up.
Way back a year ago.
Wow, some of these are really long. That's okay, they're still gonna work just fine. Now you might wonder, how much mulch am I gonna need? Now Ruth always said use twice as much as you think you're gonna need, because it's gonna break down and it's gonna flatten out. So from experience, I know that I'm gonna need at least 6 to 8 inches, and possibly more, because I'll be growing potatoes, and potatoes will grow in this mulch and spread out, and I don't want them peeking through the top and getting scalded by the sun.
I've changed for the better this time. I thought I would never be fine. I strive just...
All right, let's see what I can do as far as spreading some of these out. If they don't have an eye on them, it's not likely they're going to produce anything. That one does have a little eye, even though it's not sprouted. Move that over there. Now you might be wondering when to start. How early can I start? It's still cold out. Well, Ruth always suggested starting as early as you could. And that's because spreading the mulch is going to help to kill off the grass and the weeds so that you don't have to do any weeding. So this is all I've done. I've got some sprouted potatoes, and I'm just laid them out onto the bed. at least 12 inches apart because they are going to spread to form potatoes. So you want to give them enough room, because if they're crowded, they just aren't going to produce well.
I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago. I've changed for the better this time. I thought I would never be fine. I strive just to say I'm alright.
Stuff is heavy because it rained last night, but it's going to work just fine. Maybe even better than I'd hoped. Now, it's important to break it up, make sure that it's spread evenly. And a nice loose mulch. Now, I've used this method before and it works really well. When you go to harvest your potatoes, they're going to be right on top. You just move the hay or the straw or whatever compost you're using. You just move it aside and they're right on top. Excuse me, little bee.
Seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago. I've changed for the better this time. I thought I would never be fine. I strive just to say I'm alright. And for the first time in a long time, I'm alright. I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago.
Now I'm going to use up this whole bale because I don't have another purpose for it. My animals won't eat it because it's wet. And again, I'm not using this as a compost. My purpose is not to have it heat up, but it will provide some protection from the elements for my potatoes. You know, if we do have nights that still dip down pretty low and get pretty cold, this will still help to protect the plants. So, dual purpose.
But I'ma choose what's right and take what comes and goes, and ain't no one in life holding me back no more. I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of
I don't have anything planted in this last couple of feet, but I'm still going to put some mulch down because it'll keep the weeds from growing up. We did spread a couple inches of compost on top of this soil recently, and you would be amazed at how many weed seeds will come through. Springtime is pretty busy around here. There's lots to do, lots to plant, babies that'll be coming and needing extra care. And this just allows me to get a head start, maybe have some early potatoes.
I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same.
And really, I don't have anything as far as cost involved. These were potatoes that I grew myself, and they sprouted without my help down in the basement. And if I get some potatoes from this, gonna be a bonus.
I thought I would never be fine. I strive just to say I'm alright.
Now there are some drawbacks to this, and I should point that out. Potential for the mice to find this and to want to burrow down into this hay is there. And that's something that I'm kind of willing to deal with, because this is just a hoop house. It's just plastic. So I do have mice that settle in here over the winter. I don't leave any seeds out here or anything for them to eat. But if they're looking for a warm place to lay their head or have their babies, this is where it'll be. So that's why I allow the dogs to come in here, because they will chase away mice, discourage that. So there you have it. This is the Ruth Stout method for planting potatoes. Pretty easy. Took me just 5 to 10 minutes. Not a long time. It was stuff that I already had. Some potato peels and an old bale of hay. Check back with me in a couple of months and we'll show you what we get from our harvest. Well, that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the like button because that helps our channel. And thanks for watching.
Way back a year ago.